I guess first talk about today's practice and then just the first 4 or 5 practices.
Today's practice was okay. It was pretty good. It was good. We were out in the heat in full pads. We're going to be playing that first game about 3:30, so that was good. For the most part, these 4 days, our guys have really done a good job with knowing their assignments. We haven't had a lot of busts. They've worked pretty hard. And there's just, things here or there. At times you have walls in practice or whatnot that's pretty standard this time of year. But been pretty pleased with the first 4 days.
How's Nick look so far?
Pretty good, pretty sharp. He's been really good going about his business, and he's been throwing the ball pretty well. So I'm pretty proud of the way he's been competing and been practicing.
How's Jeremy been handling everything knowing he's going to have to start that opener?
Well, he's been pretty good. He's been working hard, and really with my guys, it's been business as usual. They've gone out and they've got the reps they would have got no matter what. And the thing with Jeremy, when you come in, you're a freshman, you're immature, it's all new, and then you don't know the offense, you don't know anything, so you're really eager to learn. So he did all that last year, and he got to play and had success. And so then you get to that point where you kind of got to get over the hump and take that next big step of just really maturing and if you're going to be a quarterback and leading. So I'm really hoping that between now and the end of fall camp, he can do that. I mean, he's doing well. He's doing everything I asked him to do, but it's now time to kind of take that next step in the maturation process with just everything from leadership to knowing the offense to execution to just the way you are professional in meetings and all those things. And I think he's getting there, but that's the next step for him.
Yeah, Gus mentioned the other day that even in the offseason, you guys have talked about giving him a bigger role. What kind of role do you foresee him taking on this season once Nick gets back in there?
Well, I think that remains to be seen. The thing with Jeremy is, he played a lot last year. And we feel like he's very talented. We feel like, if Nick wasn't the starter, that he would play and play well, and he could play a lot of places. So there's different thoughts, different ways we might implement that, but that's still kind of a little bit out there.
Rhett, have you told him to prepare? Are you telling him to prepare for series by series, a half, a game?
I hadn't even talked to him. I hadn't even told him he's starting, so I don't know if I hadn't said that. So we've gone to practice and gone to work, and I've coached him like I would if he was the starter, if he was the last string guy. I mean, just trying to make him better. So we haven't gone there. We're just day 4 in fall camp. So that's way too far out.
It looks like y'all, at least during the open period that we can see, it looks like y'all are fairly evenly splitting first team snaps with the running backs and the zone read. What are you trying to see from Jeremy specifically about that?
You talk about like the pre-practice stuff y'all are out at?
Yeah.
We've done that the same we did in the spring and last fall. We've kind of got 2 groups. It's like the 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s. So we haven't done that any different. And because we want the quarterbacks that are likely to be playing with the backs that are likely to be playing the most to get just to be on the same page. So that's pretty standard, really same guys that we're doing it in the spring. So it's just for repetition and continuity.
How have you seen that, the relationship with some of the elder running backs and elder receivers with Jeremy and some of that?
Good, because in the spring, they both got equal reps in a lot of cases. And, like I said before, we feel good with Nick and we feel good when Jeremy has to play.
What have you seen from Nick? You talked about him improving as a passer. Have you seen him kind of carry that over early on in camp?
I have. I think on day 2 he was between team and 7-on-7. He was 15-17 against the defense. So I mean, he hadn't been that sharp every day, but he's been better. But I just, so far he's been steady, and hopefully he'll continue doing that.
Has he bulked up quite a bit since last season?
Yeah, Nick probably put on 10-12 pounds, which I think is good for him. Jeremy's probably put on about 10 pounds as well. It fluctuates in fall camp, but when we started, for the weight they were at, I don't want to tell you wrong, but I think Nick was in the low 200s last year, and he's around the 214, 212, 214, 215 range, and then Jeremy's up 228, 230, and I think he was around 215, 220 last year. So, with Coach Russell in the summer, they both put on a lot of good weight.
Do you have target weights for them that you kind of want them to be?
We had goals for them. Yeah. Coach Russell does it really at every position. The position coach will get with him, and then we'll kind of go at our position, what we see, what he sees, we get on the same page, and then we give those guys a goal. That way, in the spring, right after spring ball, and the rest of spring and summer, they have a target to work for. Some guys it's losing weight. So all guys at every position kind of have a target weight. You want them to come into camp, and then you anticipate them losing 5 to 8 pounds over the time of camp, just with all the running and sweating they do. So sometimes they may come in a little heavy, and then they lose that weight.
Rhett, what do you think about your freshmen so far?
You know, that's been a really bright spot. Offensively, I know the defensively, we've got guys flying around, so I haven't been as detailed with those guys, but they look really good. But offensively, really pleased. You know, I've been pleased with the way Sean White has stepped in. I mean, his head's spinning. We probably put more in the first 4 days than we have in a long time because we've got a veteran team and guys returning from the spring. So our older guys are good. So our younger guys are kind of having to play at a little bit faster pace. And so he's got the learning curve, but man, he's throwing the ball well, and you can tell he's got a calm poise you want a quarterback to have. So I've been proud of the way he's you know, progressing in that day 4. At running back, you got Rock and you got Bubba, as we call him, Cam Petway. Coach Horton named him that because we got 2 Cams in the room. I had to know where to tell them apart. But both those guys really, you know, I mean, obviously Rock, we've only had 2 days in shoulder pads, so want to keep seeing what he can do. But you can see his athletic ability and his quickness. And then, you know, Cam or Bubba, he's big and really athletic, got great hands. So those 2 guys have done really good. Jaquel. We feel like Jaquel's going to be what we thought he was going to be. You know, there's some depth at that position right now, but we've been really pleased. He made some really good catches today. Myron and Stanton, the young wideouts, have done really well. Stanton, of course, got to be here in the spring. I think both of them are having a little nagging hamstring right there now, so the last day or 2 have been a little limited, but we feel like they're right on target. And then Braden Smith, at the offensive line, I guess I saw our players call him Drago. I call him the Hulk, so I don't know. But he's got a chance to really help us this year, I think. Just 4 days in, it's a little early with all those guys, but really been pleased with their progress so far. I may have missed a couple of guys, I'm not sure.
That offensive line situation, what do you think about it now, closing out?
What do I think about it?
Yeah, just
You know, I feel good about it. I feel good about those 5 guys. They're all veteran guys. They've all played. You know, they're in a little different positions now, but we've got a whole month to get them working together and get that continuity established. You know, the good thing, you got Sean Coleman worked at left tackle all last year behind Greg. Pat Miller was playing right tackle before he went out for a little bit, so that was kind of natural to him. Chad Slade played on the left side as a freshman. Avery Young, we mixed and matched some guys in the spring. You know, obviously everybody was in good shape at that point, but we did, so he happened to be working at right guard, and of course Reese is where he needs to be. So we feel like, you know, we need the reps to build up, but we feel like we've got those guys in good positions.
What is the major difference for Avery moving into guard, just in the offense, job responsibility-wise, moving from right tackle to right guard? What are the finer points for him that really?
Well, you know, at guards you pull more, and you know you're in different. Pass protection is different because you're in more of a confined space instead of on an island. But at the same time, you know, I know we're talking with JB. We feel like it's easier to move from tackle to guard as opposed to guard out to tackle. You know, you've got to adjust to it, but now you've got help kind of on both sides in pass protection and guard in some cases. And he's such an athletic kid, all the pulling and running and screens and all those things we do. You know, Avery's that guy, to be honest with you, of our whole line that could probably play all 5 spots from an ability standpoint. And so now it's just a matter of building up those reps for him at right guard and working with Pat and Reese and all those guys. But you know, we've been pleased in the first 4 days.
What are your thoughts moving forward on, you know, Danzy and Diamond right now, how they're working rotation?
Yeah, well, you know, Danzy's working at that left spot over there behind Chad, which is where he was all spring. And really, in the first 4 days, been really pleased with his progress. I think he's healthy. I think he's really matured. He's really taken coaching well. And we're hoping he'll continue to take that next step and be that guy we can count on if someone goes down to be the next guy in. Jordan, it's good to have him out. You know, we didn't have him in the spring. Been pleasantly surprised with the progress he's had in the first 4 days, and he's competing with Will Adams over there. But
is he 100%?
I think he's 100%. I think we're having to be smart how we ease him back into it instead of just wearing him out. You know, these are his first 4 practices since, you know, last season, and then last season he didn't play either. So, but I do think he's healthy. I think it's just building up his tolerance and stamina to where we can really push him all the way. But he's finished all 4 practices, hadn't had any issues, so it's been good.
Austin wasn't in pass day. What was the issue there?
He's okay. He should be back soon.
Talk about the wide receivers. I mean, guys that you know, in the spring stepped up. What have you seen out of them kind of continuing moving forward now?
So far, been pretty good. You know, we finally got depth. We said that in the spring, but we really feel like we've got depth, and we're trying to get our guys on the field. And so it's just going to be a matter of continuing to have guys make plays. That's what we really preach to them. I think we've got guys starting to settle into spots. and just compete for the 1 or 2 spot in the rotation, or some guys in that third group trying to move up. And like I said, we're only 4 days in. It's been good. You know, our receivers, we ask a lot of them. We ask them to take pride and do the little things, blocking well on the perimeter, playing well without the ball, as well as make plays. And so far they've done well, and it'll be good. It's always good as a coach to see. This is just day 4. Everybody was excited day 1, 2, and 3. Now they're starting to kind of start to drag these next few days. Who will push through, and then by day 10, 11, 12, who's getting better, who's kept their level up high, and who can we count on? So
How's Duke been in doing those little things after learning the offense?
You know what? So far after 4 days, he's been great. He's playing well without the ball. He's been unselfish. He's blocking, and he's making plays when he gets opportunities to. So everybody's kind of day to day, but hopefully he'll continue to do that.
Right, just for clarification purposes, you said you hadn't told Jeremy he's starting game 1, but Gus has said that Nick isn't. Are you saying there's even a possibility that Jonathan Wallace or Sean White is going to start the season opener?
I'm just saying, Coach said Nick's not starting the first game, and that's where we're at, and we're going to practice.
What do you hope to see when you guys put full pads on finally, and what are you looking for from some of your guys?
Well, we do that tomorrow, and so, you know, with a lot of our older guys, how much live work you do, that's kind of up to each coach's philosophy. You know, we've got a lot of good information on our starters and even a lot of our backups. So, you know, we can get a lot done in practice and stay up, even with pads on or not, our pants on or not. But our young guys, that's the ones. I want to see how Rock Thomas and Cam Petway and Jaquel Mitchell and maybe even Sean White and, you know, Burton and Stan Truitt and all those guys, and maybe some of the guys that redshirted last year. You know, we got to see Peyton Barber in the spring, but guys that maybe want a chance to prove themselves, we want to see how they are when it's full speed SEC football. You know, how are they when they get hit? Do they hop back up? Can they do when it's live what we think they can do? Are they ready? When things get live, sometimes guys start freaking out. So it'll be really good for us to evaluate the younger guys. And, you know, I don't know, remains to be seen how much live work Coach wants to do with the other guys. But that being said, whether we have shoulder pads and shorts on or pants, we can get a lot of the same work with our older guys. It's really going to be great for us to evaluate those younger guys, who's ready and who's maybe just not quite ready yet. I can't answer 8 at once.
Ole Miss has said they've changed a lot of their verbiage because they thought signals were getting stolen last season. Have y'all done anything like that?
I think in our league or in college football, there's a fine line between giving people too much credit. At the same time, you know, we're always trying to do things to make sure that, you know, we're not at a disadvantage. So I can say that.
Rhett, you said maturity, you wanted to see him get over the hump. What specifically are you looking for in practice from Jeremy Johnson to know he's over that hump?
Yeah, I think it's kind of hard to define. It's a little bit of everything. It's just a consistency. I mean, from the way he is in our meetings to the way he is on campus to the way his consistency level on the field. I mean, you can't have a good day and a bad day as often. You can't have half a good practice and then go in the tank. I mean, just looking to see him really take that next step because he's got the talent. He feels confident in knowing what to do. And, I mean, he's a great kid, and now it's just, hey, kind of take that next step to where you take charge and show that confidence where older guys are going to look at you and go, "Ah, we got you, we believe in you." And I do think our guys believe in him wholeheartedly.
Lane Kiffin spoke to Alabama yesterday about how one of the advantages of the job is Nick Saban makes concerted effort every day to try to make his assistants better. Is that a similar situation with you and Gus, the fact that he goes through every day trying to make each of his coaches better as well?
Oh, I don't think there's any question. I mean, that's what you want in your leader. You know, he puts us in situations that puts pressure on us to try to make us the best we can be, and yet he's constantly also in a situation where, you know, he's got great dialogue with myself or even the other assistants, and we're always dialoguing, how can we do things better or make a situation better or coach a player better or do a scheme better, and that makes us all better. So I don't think there's any question. A great leader, you know, elevates the level of those around him, and I think we've got the best leader out there.
Rhett, last year you constantly talked about how much you know, Jake Posh was to the importance of his offense. How do you feel like the competition is shaping up there behind Brandon and CJ right now?
Behind them or with them?
Well, yes, with them. How that's shaping up in place.
Those two guys have been really good. I have no issues with them knowing what to do. I've been really pleased with Brandon Foltz the first 4 days. Man, he's done a great job. I think I'm excited he's got 20 whatever more practices we have to just keep working it. But I feel like he's going to do a good job. He doesn't need to be Jay, he needs to be Brandon, and he's got certain strengths that are really good, and he's got other areas that he needs to improve on, and we'll do our best to get him better and do what he's best at. But he's doing a really good job, and as is CJ. CJ's got so much versatility. I mean, he's played quarterback in high school, and since he's got here, he's played everywhere. And so he's done a really good job at that position as well as others. And then, behind him, we got a bunch of guys rotating. But I've been pleased with those two guys the first 4 days. It's just going to be a process for them to just try to keep getting better because Jay was pretty darn good.
Is Petway going to get a look there at that H-back?
Petway's playing running back right now.
Okay.
Thanks, Rick.
All right,
Thanks,
see you
Rick.
guys today. That 8 question thing would have been interesting.
Yeah.
That was the same.
From an old RCA commercial.
That's what it felt like. It looked like Trevor's gonna pull it.
He said, hey now.
It's not a little.
That's really what it was like, too. It was like,
We got to divide that up into like